In such a quiet neighborhood, neighbors were surprised when police responded to a 17-year-old that was found right here on this playground suffering from gunshot wounds. For Android users, you can download the app through the Google Play Store, and for iPhone users, you would go to your settings, exposure notification, and opt in for DC. And because the release of vaccine has been so politicized, along with hope comes some hesitation. In downtown Hampton Roads, and there are many restaurants considering a non-smoking law. Restaurants like Anna's Italian Restaurant says it's great to increase the family atmosphere, while Stillwater Tavern says it's a no-go. This afternoon, the mayor of D.C. announced that she is encouraging businesses to board up and stay prepared just in case there are any disruptions. She said the National Guard has not been called, but they are on standby if needed. Back to you, Zach. Baltimore's new mayor says he knows he has a challenge ahead of him and he's ready to take on that challenge. This afternoon, I sat down with Brandon Scott and we talked about rebuilding the city of Baltimore by reducing violence, enforcing COVID-19 restrictions, and improving education.
I am humbled by the task before us, and I have hope, but I am not naive to the challenges we face.
Those were some of the few words Brandon Scott said for the first time as the new mayor of Baltimore. Scott spoke out about the various challenges, including education, COVID-19, drug overdose, budget recovery, with an emphasis on public safety due to crime.
We will get back to the basics of safe neighborhoods, reliable trash and recycling collection, plowed roads, dependable public transit, clean and affordable water, and most importantly, a good education, all with a focus on equity. This starts here in Baltimore with public safety.
The Baltimore Police Department reported 6,458 total crimes in the past 3 months. 175 of them were shootings and 83 were homicides. Baltimore City resident Quentin says things need to change.
Because we're tired of the killing, you know what I mean? And it's like us killing each other, you know?
I sat down with Scott and he said it's an all-hands-on-deck job.
Right, and when you think about how many generations, how many families have been impacted multiple times, it means that we need a whole all-hands-on-deck approach to dealing with this.
Scott also wants to work with state leaders for better funding for Baltimore schools. He says he wants to have a fully funded school system for the first time in history.
We have to start there because we know that that investment is something that we will reap the benefits of for generations.
Being in the middle of a pandemic in a city with such high violence is his biggest challenge.
Those two simultaneous emergencies is going to be the biggest challenge and hurdle that we have to get over.
Scott is the city's youngest mayor, and he wants to build a new foundation together.
I am not a savior for our city. No one is coming to save us. We have the ability to save ourselves, but we can only do that together.
Scott has already began his duties as mayor. After we spoke, he began a series of meetings this afternoon discussing how to handle the coronavirus pandemic and how to get the city's economy back on track. Reporting from Baltimore City Hall, I'm Sesay, CNS TV News.
I've basically built my whole life around Metro. I mean, I'm totally blind.
Columbia Heights resident Michelle HACKMAN relies on DC Metro to get everywhere.
Found an apartment that's basically right above a metro station so that I'm able to really easily commute to work. You know, it's the way that I'm able to see my friends.
She says the proposed DC Metro budget cuts will make her life harder. Uber is expensive and the Metro Access shuttle is slow.
They're creating an unequal system for people with disabilities who, you know, people like me, I've sort of built my life to be autonomous around public transportation, and I feel like that's being taken away from me.
Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority General Manager and CEO Paul Whitfield says his unit will have to make steep cuts in order to keep transportation operational.
Any cut is painful. I mean, that's just the reality of what we're up against right now. So we don't take it lightly.
The recommendations include shutting down service on weekends, operate from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. on weekdays, running trains 30 minutes apart, and shutting down 19 stations.
So I guess I'm just gonna have to plan out my commute a little bit more, use like the City Mapper app to like check to see when the train is coming.
Directly behind me is Chevrolet Station, which will be one of the 19 stations that may be shut down once again. It was shut down earlier in April due to the pandemic. Whitfield says these stations were selected based on use and location.
I just wish our country would recognize how much people's lives are being impacted and how much my life will be stunted if the metro system, you know, becomes a shadow of itself.
Stores near the White House are being boarded up. They're getting ready for possible protests next Tuesday after the election results come in. They belong to an organization called the Golden Triangle Business District.
And as an organization, we not only tell our members that they should have plans for anything that might come their way, whether it's a man-made or natural disaster, we also have our own plans. And so, you know, we're watching, and we will execute on our plan.
This after protests this summer left 87 of their buildings with broken glass and 25 buildings looted. Executive Director of Golden Triangle said DC officials told her that they are not mandating or encouraging businesses to board up.
Actually vandalizing new in the store, I never actually understood that purpose.
Abu Sila participated in peaceful protests this summer, but he says he is not participating on election night. He says he is indeed concerned about how safe the area will be.
If Trump ends up winning again, honestly, I will probably not go out just for my safety, because I know if people go on protest, I know it's just going to be violent. It probably wouldn't be peaceful.
Voters hope that those who do decide to protest have a purpose.
What are you protesting for? What's the message? What's the result? It's like you have to get something out of it. You can't say, oh, you know what? Something happened, let's go protest. No, it got to be objective. There got to be an ending goal that you want to achieve when you're protesting.
I'm in downtown Annapolis, where just about an hour and a half ago, small businesses and shoppers started participating in an annual event called Midnight Madness. Store owners say this is the busiest time of the year, and they're excited about what they've seen so far. Store owners in Annapolis are preparing for a large number of shoppers tonight. It's the city's holiday tradition, Midnight Madness. Many shoppers say after shutting down, they relied on online sales, but since reopening, they've seen a lot of support.
So we see a lot of people really like coming in and spending their money locally, and it's been really good. We've been grateful.
She says Midnight Madness will help her store make up the profit they've lost.
With the discounts and everything for Midnight Madness and people really wanting to support small local businesses, I think that it'll be super helpful to help us make up for that profit loss.
Bee Boutique owners say their new location has only been open for 2 weeks, but sales have been good.
Great.
Amazing.
Yeah, people have really come out and want to support us.
It surpassed our expectations for sure.
Yes.
This will be their first Midnight Madness.
Heard about past years and how amazing it is. There are a lot of rules tonight. I think it'll still be really, really fun. It's just we're going to safely bring everybody in to shop and let everybody have a good time. And I can't wait to see the streets filled with people.
Yeah.
According to the National Retail Federation, holiday sales will increase between 3.6 and 5.6% over 2019 sales. Bee Boutique owner says they don't have a sale goal. Her concern is safety.
We don't really have a dollar amount. We just want to see a lot of masked faces. So.
To make sure shoppers are following safety guidelines, stores are limiting their capacity to 50%. Face masks are required, and they're encouraging everyone to social distance inside and outside their stores. Reporting from Annapolis, I'm Yamarie Sesay.